Week 14 is underway. Excuse me, it's done with, man. Like I said last week, this week, this NFL season is flying by. Before you know it, the Super Bowl is going to be here in February. Brandon, how we doing today, man?
I'm doing good. Speaking of flying by, I'm excited to see these last 4 weeks to see how everything pans out. Who's going to win these close divisions? The NFC South, the NFC West, just to name a few. Those two divisions for sure up in the air. Uh, some excited time to look forward to late December, early January. Plus, the weather is changing as well. See how that impacts it.
Yeah, it definitely is. Let's get into it, though, shall we?
All right, let's go to our opening drive. Sources say the Vikings they haven't talked about extending quarterback Sam Darnold despite his five touchdown performance on Sunday. Saquon Barkley he set the Eagles' single season rushing record in Week 14. That was on Sunday. He moved past LaShawn McCoy. Raiders tight end Brock Bowers he now holds the record for most receptions in a season by a rookie tight end. The record was set just last year by Sam Laporta with 86. Cowboys linebacker DeMarvion Overshawn. He will miss significant time after tearing his ACL, MCL, and PCL in his right knee. Best of wishes to a speedy recovery for him. I know that's painful. Wide receiver George Pickens. He's expected to miss Sunday's showdown with the Eagles. Wide receiver KJ Osborne. He's been waived by the New England Patriots. Quarterback Joe Burrow's home was broken into as he played on Monday Night Football. And the new 30 for 30 documentary titled The New York Sack Exchange will air Friday night on ESPN. Shows the tense moments with former Jet star Mark Gastineau. He approached Brett Favre last year and accused him of deliberately taking the sack against Michael Strahan, which stripped him of his single season sack record.
Yeah, I saw the video of that. You said you saw it earlier, too.
Yep.
My initial thought was like, come on, man, you still holding on to that? But I mean,
Yeah.
if that's the record you had and you feel like, it was given away cheaply or someone else took it and they didn't really earn it, I guess I can see it. But I was watching the play and I was like, maybe they designed a play where it would go to straight hand for the sack, but I don't know, man. That's long ass time ago, sir. Maybe that's your first time seeing Brett Favre and those emotions just came out, but I was like, damn, bro, you gotta let that hurt go, man. I know it seemed like it was eating him up too. It looked like he's about to start crying for a second. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
But
Um,
go
Real
ahead.
quick, I haven't seen too many of those 30 for 30 documentaries. I'm looking forward to this though, because apparently in the clip, the clip you sent me didn't show the full part of the clip they showed on ESPN.com where a couple of his former teammates said how cocky this guy was. I had never heard of how dominant that Jets defense was that year, or especially his pass rushing abilities, but they said like apparently he liked to sack the quarterback. He didn't want to stop the run. So I
Mm,
can't wait to see this documentary in full on ESPN Friday night.
gotcha. Yeah, I might have to check that out too. All right, let's get to the Eagles surviving against the Panthers 22 to 16. Panthers, they keep losing games, but they're playing better and better. I think Bryce Young might have earned himself at least another year in the league with the Panthers. If not, I think he definitely earned himself another year in the league just in general. Salute to Saquon Barkley. He mentioned it in the opening drive that he now is the record holder for rushing yards in the season of 16,000 or 1,607. That's what LaShawn McCoy had. He also broke the record for most 100 yards rushing games in the season. That was held by Wilbert Montgomery when he rushed for 100 yards for the ninth time this season too. So again, looks dumber and dumber for the Giants to let him go, especially let him go, and then he signs with your division rival. I mean, just looks dumber and dumber by the second. But back to this game, though, I'm going to get down to the final few minutes. Basically, the last drive for the Panthers. Bad teams find ways to lose games. I think it was 4th and 5. One of the linemen false start. You have Bryce Young clapping his hand for the ball like he had a damn standing ovation that he was clapping for so long. And the lineman, it was so loud in the stadium. I guess he didn't hear it, or I don't know what was going on. But he hiked the ball and he started blocking his damn left foot. I'm like, God damn it, the fucking. So because I was rooting for the Panthers in that one.
Yeah, I believe it.
Bryce Young, he had a couple of throws to Xavier Legette that I know Xavier is definitely had some bad sleep about that because he dropped a couple of balls. One was, I think it was either for a touchdown, would have been put him right in the red zone. Had the ball in his bread basket. He had to dive for it, but as he hit the ground, the ball went loose and bounced off the ground, and it wasn't a touchdown. And the Eagles went on to win that game. I was just sitting, I was like, God damn, like win another one. Boy, if they would have lost that game, I would have gave it to the Eagles fans. My boy Matt Brown, he loves to post about 4 or 5 posts every day anytime they win a game. I would have got on his ass. Same for my boy Shim, but y'all got lucky. Y'all won another damn game. So suit to my Eagles fans. Brandon, what were your thoughts on this game, man?
Yeah, talk about drama. You mentioned that the final moments of that game, they came within inches of that upset, but Xavier Legette, I believe he's a rookie first rounder. He couldn't make that catch there late in the final drive. Literally was probably right on the 1 yard line, inches of the end zone. Uh, it eventually led to that fourth down stop by Big Play Slay, as they called him there in Philadelphia. But got to give some credit to the to the Carolina Panthers, like you mentioned. The Chuba Hubbard, he redeemed himself after the overtime fumble against Tampa Bay. The Panthers defense was after Hurts for a good amount of the game. Adam Thielen had himself a big game. They took advantage of a major Philadelphia weakness, which may come back to haunt them later in the season or the postseason. The fact that they cannot score in the first quarter. That's how Carolina got out early in this one. It was only 3 points, but that little bit of momentum may have been the reason why they was able to stick around so much in this game. But overall, I'm not taking anything away from the Eagles. Super close in the fourth quarter, but the defense closed the door, as I mentioned earlier. Again, over 200 yards rushing, damn near unbeatable with Sirianni and Jalen Hurts in this era when they get over 200 yards on the ground, and they did again. You mentioned um, the mistake by the Giants of letting him go, and it shows more and more again that it was a great pickup. Shout out to the free agent running backs overall. We'll probably talk more about them later in the season and during the off season. There for a while, they were 1, 2, and 3. Saquon, Derrick Henry, and Josh Jacobs, new faces on new teams, leading the league in rushing. Shout out to them.
Yeah, before we also get moving on, just want to give a quick shout out to Jonathan Brooks. He was the rookie running back for the Panthers. He tore his ACL, the same LCL he tore 13 months ago when he was playing in college, I believe, for Texas. He went out there. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL again against the Eagles. So hopefully you have a good recovery, sir. You're able to get back on the field and do your thing. Also, I don't know if you saw any of the stuff from the Eagles. Linebacker Brandon
Yeah,
Graham. He was commenting
yeah,
on the relationship between Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, and how things have changed, and basically how he hopes the business doesn't get in the way of their relationship. But he says they doesn't seem like they're friends anymore, and I thought that was a big eye opener. I mean, you definitely could see on a field the passing attack, especially. I mean, Jalen Hurts only had 108 yards passing. He did have 2 touchdowns. But it looks like that relationship between him and AJ Brown is strained. And I'm going to keep an eye on that as the season goes along, especially as they get to the playoff and see how those two look and how that's going to be going down the line if somebody has to go from that team. I doubt it'll be Jalen Hurts. It'd probably be AJ Brown, but that was definitely a eye opener for me when I saw those that video from Brandon Graham.
I agree. And the same thing that I saw on the sports shows yesterday and today, that the fact of the matter is they're 11-2 or something like that. You usually get these type of situations when teams are losing. So it was very interesting that he came out and said that, and it is you mentioned the passing game hasn't been its best the last couple of weeks, for sure. So we'll see how they respond next Sunday, or next week when they host Pittsburgh, actually. Big game there at the link. All right, going to turn the page. I think this one ended up a little bit closer than we all thought. The Dolphins topped the Jets 32-26 in overtime. I'm going to go straight to the fourth quarter. Tua missed Tyreek on a crosser. He could have walked into the end zone or damn near close. It led to that 52-yard field goal by Sanders to send it to overtime. Miami got the ball first, and Jonnu Smith went off in overtime. Hadn't had a reception all game. Um, then Tyreek hits. I'm sorry. Tua hit Smith later on after a couple big plays. Right side. Jonnu Smith again, his third reception of overtime, third reception of the game. He had to cross all the way across the middle into traffic and caught that for a touchdown. A couple other key points about this game. It was Aaron Rodgers' first 300-yard passing game since 2022. Jalen Ramsey, he had himself a long day. The shutdown corner gave up 97 yards. It doesn't seem like that much, but it is against someone like him who's had a fantastic career. Garrett Wilson alone, that was his most yards surrendered in a game since 2017. And it's like the same old story with the New York Jets, eliminated from playoff contention. Now 14 straight seasons that they've reached that feat. It's the longest in the National Football League, the National Basketball Association, the National Hockey League, Major League Baseball, and Women's NBA. Just tough sledding there for the Jets, man. And then y'all had the audacity to fire Robert Saleh and thought it was going to turn around when you traded for Devontae Adams. Yeah, I don't know who's worse, honestly, the Jets or the Giants. I got to give the edge to the Giants. But what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, man, I definitely agree with everything you said. Quick shout out to Jonnu Smith. I had him on my fantasy team. The game went to the overtime. He had 0 points because he didn't catch the ball. He's basically just out there running routes and blocking. And then, like you said, overtime comes. He catches the screen pass. He goes, catches a big gain. He had 44 yards, receptions, 44 receiving yards, excuse me, 3 catches and a touchdown, like you mentioned, all in overtime. They threw him a screen pass. They said, you know what? That was a good play. Let's do the same exact thing. They threw him another screen pass. We
Yeah.
got another first down. I was like, man, y'all could have done this the whole damn game, but at least y'all realized it in overtime that maybe we should get this guy the ball like y'all were doing the first couple weeks before this game because he's been killing me for fantasy. Another shout out to Anders Carlson, the kicker for the Jets. He had a hell of a game for me in fantasy too. But back to this game though, like you said, man, the Jets, maybe I wonder how Robert Saleh is looking at this because I know ever since he got let go, that Jets defense has not looked his best. I think they've taken a step back since he's been gone. So I wonder how the Jets team feels about this. And definitely a good win for the Dolphins. I think at this point, especially since they lost to the Packers and Thanksgiving, I don't know about their chances of getting into the playoffs. But it was definitely a good win for them. If they would have lost this one, that would have been a very ugly loss, in my opinion. But they still got some hope. And you mentioned Jalen Ramsey. I don't know, man. I think his days as a shutdown corner, in my opinion, are over. I think he's still a good corner. I think he'll still have some days, but his days of you don't have to worry about that side of the field, in my opinion, are long gone. I mean, I remember he had some problems against Marvin Harrison, the rookie, Marvin Harrison, the junior, the second, can't remember. But he scored a touchdown on him, has a couple plays on him as well. Everybody's played against, in my opinion, has looked good against him. So, yeah, we'll see how he looks going into the future, especially next year as he gets another year older, going against these young ups coming up in the game. But yeah, man, this game, Tua Tagovailoa, man, if he didn't have these concussions early in the season, I really wonder how this AFC East would have looked, man. I think they would have been right at the top of the division with the Bills, and definitely making a noise for some playoff push. I think they would have at least had a wild card spot. Maybe Denver or maybe the Chargers or somebody would have something to say about that. But I don't know, man. Definitely wish I could have seen Tua healthy this entire year. Hopefully, he can stay healthy going into the next season, but you never know. But yeah, man, great win for the Dolphins. I think that's good for the morale. Just after they were able to get the ball, because the Jets scored late in that game, and then the Dolphins, they had a good kickoff return where they only needed 20 or 30 more yards to get in the field goal range. Not allowed them to kick that field goal to get into the tie the game up, and then they won it in overtime. So definitely shout out to the Jets for that. Great win for them. But I think at this point, it's probably too late for them to make any real noise going into the postseason. But we'll see. All right, this is probably game of the week, in my opinion. Rams winning the shootout against the Bills, 44-42. We were texting a little bit before this game. I was like, man, I hope the Rams beat this team. But I even said it in the preview shoot. I was shooting for the Rams. I had a feeling in my stomach, but I did pick the Bills. I thought they had the better overall team. But the Rams came out there, and one of the main reasons I give the Rams a chance, a lot of the sports pundits mentioned it too, Puka Nacua, Cooper Cup, and then even Kyron Williams. Kyron Williams got
Yep.
out there and did his thing too. But Puka Nacua, man, I don't want to say this is a breakout game because he definitely showed how good he was his rookie year. But he had that toe drag swag where he caught the ball
Yeah.
and dragged his feet out of bounds before he went out of bounds. So he made play after play when he needed to. They even used him in the rushing game a little bit with these like sweet plays a little bit. He scored a touchdown running the ball, and then Cooper Cup. I think he's a Hall of Famer. But Cooper Cup, when he needed to make a play, he made a play. Matt Stafford didn't turn the ball over. I think they said this was like the highest scoring game where there weren't any turnovers, both sides of the ball, which is pretty crazy. Kyron Williams doing his thing. This Rams team are really, really interested to see how they look going into the because they're right outside of the wild card spot. They're 7-6. Oh God, the Commanders are 8-5. I'm looking at this. So Commanders could be, just so you know, the Rams are on your ass, okay, for that final wild card spot. And I can see them not losing any more games. I got to look at their schedule, but the way they played against
Yeah.
the Bills, that offense will definitely help them win games. Now, like I said about my Commanders, the Rams defense looked like it's going to keep them in the games too. Because at one point, I thought, are they really about to let the Bills come back? I don't know if it's a bonehead play, but definitely a decision that made me scratch my head where the Bills were down on the goal line. Not that much time left. I think it was about a minute and some change left. And at the end of the game, they decided to do a quarterback sneak. If it worked, it probably been a great decision, but it didn't work. Then the clock started running, and that's how it went. So
Yep.
definitely not smart. But Josh Allen had himself a day. If only he could play linebacker or maybe a free safety to help that defense out because they were getting gouged by Matt Stafford in that passing attack. But Josh Allen, man, when he takes off in the pocket, I'm just like him and Mahomes. They both can do it. They take off in the pocket. I'm like, damn, where's the quarterback spy at? Does anybody realize this guy will take off and go? I mean, 3 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. First guy to do 3 and 3 in a game. Crazy to me. He definitely put up some Madden numbers. I don't even think I've done that Madden. And I played with Michael Vick. I played with all the guys like that. I don't even think I've done some shit like that, Madden, man. But yeah, man, this was just a great game. I'm glad the Rams won this game. I think the Bills needed a loss like this. Definitely can tell that they can smell their shit now. They definitely thought the shit didn't stink. They definitely knows it stinks right now. They got some questions on that defensive side of the ball. They did have Matt Milano back. This is the second game back, playing more and more. They got a few games left, and they'll need him to get reacclimated. Hopefully, by the time the postseason comes around, he's kind of back at least a little bit in like mid-season form and can help that defense turn around the playoffs. They definitely, I don't got to say exposed, but you look at it like, okay, we can do some things against them. Just keep Josh Allen off the field, and we can do some things against that defense. But yeah, man, what were your thoughts on this game?
Oh, and apologies to the Buffalo Bills. I didn't think they stood a chance against Buffalo the way they was, rolling on all cylinders. I
The
didn't think they
Rams,
can go toe to toe with
Rams,
them. Yeah, the Rams. Sorry. But yeah, then came the 3 playmakers you mentioned. Kyron Williams, he had 2 touchdowns. Cooper Cup, he got in the end zone. It was pretty much a screen pass. He walked into the end zone, pretty much, as well as Puka Nacua, damn near 200 scrimmage yards, 5 carries, 16 yards, touchdown, 12 receptions, 162 yards, touchdown. You mentioned that toe drag swag catch there in the second quarter as well. Big play there to keep a drive going. Los Angeles came out with a great game plan, specifically controlling the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. They did that very well. I also thought they need a big play or 2 on special teams, and they got it. They had that second quarter block punt for a touchdown. First time they've done that since 2018. That's over 100 games. And then, yeah, just some mind-boggling stats. You mentioned how much the scoring was in this one. 902 yards of total offense without a sack and an interception. Josh Allen, those 3 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. He continues to set records, making a late season push for MVP and highest scoring game of the season. The Rams needed this to keep pace in the NFC West, and the Bills, honestly, like you said, they was thinking their shit don't stink, but they got the Detroit Lions next week. Man, they could lose 2 in a row, so they gotta get it together. There to keep pace. I don't think Kansas City is gonna take a fault, but they may drop out of that 2 seed. With to check the divisional conference standings when it comes down to it later this year. But if Buffalo drops 2 in a row, we'll see how it ends up, whether they end up that 2 seed or the 3 seed, which they like playing at home in the playoffs. It's very important there with the weather advantage and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, good win for the Rams. Again, apologize to the uh, Rams faithful for picking against your team. I honestly did not think they had a shot in this one. They proved me wrong for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at the playoff standings right now. Buffalo's 10-3, Pittsburgh's 10-3. So Pittsburgh's wins out and Buffalo loses another game or two. Could be very interesting to see how that looks. Going into the playoffs, man, for sure.
Yep.
All right, everyone. This episode is brought to you by Premium. It is a CBD and wellness company. Check out their full line of CBD infused products, which make great stocking stuffers for the upcoming holiday season. Perfect for athletes, weekend warriors, soccer moms, and even armchair quarterbacks. They have CBD infused honey, which is a personal favorite, as well as tinctures and mint and regular flavor. Most importantly, they're veteran women owned. So come get some of the sweet temptation and taste the premium difference. Use code B&E for 15% off your order. Their website is premium.com. That's PREHEMIUM.com. And now let's get back to our show.
Time for some player awards, everyone. Let's talk about the offensive side of the football. I got 2 guys. I'm going to go with the first one, though. Sam Darnold, the Vikings quarterback, 22 for 28, 347 yards, 5 touchdowns, 157.9 passer rating. He spoiled the homecoming for Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons. And honorable mention, the OG at tight end right now in the National Football League, George Kittle. We was texting during this game as well. He had well over 100 yards by halftime, 6 targets and 6 receptions, 151 yards, 25.2 yards per catch. Who is your offensive player of the week?
I got to give it to that guy up in Buffalo, Josh Allen. I mean, 3 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. I mean, I was going to show some love to Sam Darnold too, but 6 touchdowns, 3 and 3, man. Josh Allen is my offensive player of the week.
All right, let's go to the defensive side of the ball. I got C.J. Gardner Johnson of the Philadelphia Eagles. Huge interception in the second quarter after returning from a concussion evaluation. Panthers were marching downfield. They were at the 41-yard line. Looked like they were headed towards the end zone again. The veteran safety reminded us how much this Eagles secondary has improved. Who's your defensive player of the week?
I'm going to give it to a guy in a losing effort. A Jets player, Jamie Sherwood, had 18 total tackles against the Dolphins. Unfortunately, they lost the game, but he definitely tried his best. So I'm going to give it to linebacker Jamie Sherwood of the New York Jets.
Special teams player of the week. I talked about a little bit in the Rams-Bills game. Jake Hummel, the linebacker with the Rams. He had a huge block punt in the second quarter. It was scooped up by the third-string tight end, Hunter Long. So I could split this award, taking it back to the house for 22 yards and a touchdown. Gave the Rams a 17-7 lead over the Bills heading into halftime. Who's your special teams guy?
My special teams player of the week goes to Brian Breesy of the Saints. He was the one who blocked the field goal attempt against the Giants that would have tied the game up as the game ended in regulation. But he broke the Giants' hearts as he jumped over the lineman and was able to get a hand on the ball and stop that PAT from going through the uprights. You can see Giants fans in shock. A lot of them wearing bags over their faces. You couldn't see them at all, but a lot of the Giants fans are just like, wow, another day. I even had a Giants fan at work, a coworker of mine. I just looked at him. He said, I was laughing. So, that's where it's at with a Lions Giants fan. They just laugh. laugh in the misery of things. But yeah, Brian Breesy, that's my special teamer of the week for the
That guy
season.
literally was damn near. I'm sorry, he was damn near untouched when he jumped over them. It's sad, man. It is sad. Speaking of former Giants, I got a former Giant for my bonehead player of the week. Kadarius Toney, the Browns wide receiver. Your team is down 27-7 heading into the fourth quarter. They'd also given up 24 unanswered points at that point in time. Steelers, they had a big third down stop. Um, Tony, he did though make a catch. The punt team trots onto the field, but he proceeds to draw with the Steelers defenders. He tosses the ball at one of the backs of the Steelers. Yellow flag comes out, 15 yards, unsportsmanlike conduct. And then we go later in the game, just when we thought the Browns may make a little bit of a comeback, and he muffed the punt there. Just under 3 minutes left in the game to seal the win for Pittsburgh. Not only were they rocking with Renegade, which I mentioned, it comes in the fourth quarter, typically between the third and fourth quarter when they go to commercial break. But then they had that happen, the second part where he muffed the punt, and their fans are just going crazy. As you mentioned, on the way to 10-3, um, may make a push for the 2 seed in the AFC. Another reason why he can't stay employed, and his ass got it waived earlier today, from what I understand as well.
Mm.
Kadarius Toney, my bonehead player of the week. Who you got?
Yeah, salute to him. I had the Pittsburgh defense in one of my fantasy leagues. I needed every point I could get, and when he muffed that point, and they Steelers recovered the fumble, I
Yeah.
was like, all right. But my bonehead play of the week. Let's see if I can share my screen with you, everyone, and I'll just let it play from here. Hope everyone can see this. This is the Vikings versus the Falcons. We have Justin Jefferson going for a touchdown, and as you see, the Falcons defender, I don't know if he's looking at a bird or a plane, but he definitely wasn't looking at the ball. He goes in a circle, scrambles around, and falls on his face. And Justin Jefferson just strolls in the end zone. So my bonehead player of the week goes to, I believe that is D. Alford of the Falcons. Yes, sir.
Mm.
You definitely are in this order this week. Also, I want to give an honorable mention to the Cowboys special teamer. His name I can't remember last night, but that was just I was just thinking of Stephen A. Smith, accident waiting to happen. What can go
Yep.
wrong will go wrong. I wanted to see if he did one of those videos where he just listens to the camera and start busting
Yep.
out laughing. Because I definitely thought of him in that moment. That was just great, man. So yeah, but my bonehead player of the week goes to D. Alford, cornerback for the Falcons, who lost the last 4 games in a row. Kirk Cousins is looking like he needs to hang it up. Just not good things. Raheem Morris, good luck to you, sir. It's looking bad out there, boy.
That's what I was going to say. When it rains, it pours. You mentioned that 4 game losing streak. Yeah, when one thing goes wrong, the whole that I didn't even see that. I'm glad you shared that. that was bad. All right. Plenty of the games that were taking place over the weekend from week 14. The Lions, they gambled on fourth down and beat the Packers 34-31. Thursday night football, Jaguars got their third win of the season. They beat the Titans 10-6. Vikings, they mopped the floor with the Falcons 42-21. Saints win over the Giants 14-11 thanks to a blocked field goal. Steelers 27, Browns 14 as Pittsburgh ties the regular season series. Bucks handled the Raiders 28-13 with strong opening and closing quarters. Cardinals, they fall again to the Seahawks 30-18. 49ers destroyed the Bears 38-13. Chiefs outlasted the Chargers 19-17. Sunday night football, and the Bengals 27-20 over the Cowboys on Monday night football. Which of these games stood out to you?
Definitely the Chiefs over the Chargers. Like I said, they keep finding ways to win games. Winning a field goal to end the game. Cardinals Seahawks game. We were texting back and forth a little bit about this game. Kyler Murray had 2 early interceptions, kind of put them in a hole that they weren't able to recover from. And the Seahawks, they didn't have Kenneth Walker. Looks like they didn't need him that day because Zach Charbonnet did his thing against me in fantasy as well against the Cardinals. So Yeah, salute to them. Let's see. Definitely the Saints over the Giants, as I mentioned earlier. My special teamer of the week. I thought the Giants maybe could have got the game in overtime and done something, but nope. Field goal got blocked, and the Giants are battling out with the Raiders to see who can stink the worst and to be the worst team in the league and get that first pick. And definitely, I guess I gotta give a little love to the Jaguars of beating the Titans 10-6. I think Will Levis probably won't be playing for the Titans again next season. I think they're going to try to reset, get another quarterback. I could be wrong. We'll see. And definitely the Lions beating the Packers 34-31 Thursday Night Football. That was probably second or third game of the week. Right there at the Chiefs Chargers, and then the win over the Bengals win over Cowboys last night and Monday Night Football. What about you? Which of these games caught your eye most?
Yeah, Jaguars, Titans. I just don't understand why Brian Callahan, he's not on the hot seat, in my opinion. The Titans, they've gotten progressively worse. As the season going on, to me, they're worse than what they were last year. 10 points per game early in the season. They got 6 in this one. Vikings and the Falcons, it looks like your request to get Kyle Pitts the ball wasn't received. I think he had 1 reception for 14 yards, give or take. Giants and the Saints, another lousy performance for the G-men. You saw the plane flew over MetLife with the banner that read, quote, "Mr. Mayor, please sell this dumpster fire." Yeah, and then they asked the rookie, was the neighbors after the game. He said he didn't purchase a plane, or he didn't. Okay. Steelers and Browns, Mike Tomlin, he remains undefeated at home against the Browns. Just owns them there in Pittsburgh and Western Pennsylvania. Bucks and the Raiders. I hope AP survives this. We were texting about this as well. He needs more time with this team. They have so many needs. I thought they was going to finish second in the AFC West. I was definitely wrong on that. The rumor has it is that they want Mike Vrabel there next year. Hopefully, again, the Davis family stays put with Antonio Pierce, gives them more time. That's old school, how they used to do it back in the day, when Al Davis was still living. Now you got your son running the team. Give him more time. You know what I'm saying? The defensive guys wanted him there. Max Crosby, he was pushing for him really bad during the offseason. Get the man more time. We'll see how it goes next year when they get a quarterback, hopefully in the draft. And 49ers over the Bears, man, the score honestly didn't justify how bad this was for Chicago. They literally had, I think, 4 total yards in the first half. It was bad out there in Santa Clara. My guaranteed pick looked pretty good.
Damn good, yeah, sure did.
All right. That's it. We good?
I'm good.
You got anything? All right. Friends and family, thank you so much for supporting our podcast. If you haven't already, please follow us on X, Podcast B&E, known as Twitter, IG, B&E Podcast. We got a big Thursday night game in Santa Clara, 5:15 p.m. local time kickoff for the Rams and 49ers. NFC West positioning is on the line in that one. Check it out. We'll be back Friday. We're going to discuss Lions and Bills, plus Steelers and Eagles. 2 big late window games there Sunday afternoon. Eagles and Steelers there at the link. That'll do it for now. Until next time, love one another.